This video is sponsored by Safeshell VPN. More on them in just a second. Well, hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is John Adams. Right here I have the brand new 14-inch MacBook Pro with the M3 Pro chip. But if you're watching this video, you're probably wondering the question, what is the right size MacBook Pro for me? Now that doesn't mean you have to go with the MacBook Pro. I've also got a MacBook Air right here. We're gonna talk about what different kind of workflows, what kind of people should be buying what computer. Now the reason that this is so important is you have spent so much of your hard-earned money, and with these new chips, they're going to last, like I said in my last video, they're gonna last maybe 8, maybe 9 years for you. And so for you, picking the right laptop is gonna be extremely important. So first, we're gonna talk about the one that I think the least amount of people should get, and that is the 16-inch MacBook Pro. The 16-inch MacBook Pro, it's a fantastic computer. I mean, this thing is absolutely massive. If you can see it in the overhead shot right here, it is a big, big computer, but it sounds great. Battery life is awesome. And if you're not gonna be somebody who's gonna plug into an external monitor, it is a fantastic choice. But this is mostly for creative professionals, people who are doing video work and photo work and graphic design work, because you have that extra screen real estate. It's really helpful. But I've flown on planes with this 16-inch MacBook Pro, and it's just too big to work in that kind of environment. And so I think this is for the person who's not gonna be super mobile. They might go to coffee shops, that kind of thing, but ultimately their main priority is having a lot of screen real estate without plugging into an external monitor. So for me, the reason why I choose the 16-inch as my daily driver, yes, most of the time I actually am plugged into an external monitor, but I like to be able to go to a coffee shop and work. I like to be able to work around my house. Like when I work, I'm very nomadic. And so I like to work on my couch a little bit, go to my bed a little bit, go to the kitchen table a little bit. And so if you're that kind of worker like I am, and you still need big screen real estate, because I do a lot of photo editing, a lot of video editing, a little bit of graphic design, this is the right computer for you. Now, the specs I would recommend for this: don't go less than 1 terabyte of storage, and don't go under 16 gigs of unified memory. Because if you're getting this, you're probably a creative professional and you're gonna need that stuff in the long run. Now, in my last video, I said this as well. Make sure you're buying what you're gonna need for the next 5 to 9 years, because these chips are so good. I mean, this is the M1 Pro chip and it still crushes video editing. So make sure you're spending the extra money. It is Apple tax and all that kind of stuff, but you're gonna want it in the long run. Also, the speakers on this machine sound fantastic. When I'm editing video, sometimes I don't even need headphones because the speakers on the 16-inch MacBook Pro sound so stinking good. All right, so I just got home and I wanna show you how I supercharge my Apple TV the same way that you can through something that's an amazing app. It's called Safeshell VPN. Now, like I said, with a VPN, you can make yourself appear like you're anywhere, and every time you get onto a VPN, it's really helpful because it kind of confuses anybody who's trying to get into your system, because it gives you a new IP address, which might be confusing for you, but what you really need to know is it's a safe way to access the internet, and it's a safe way to make yourself appear like you're somewhere else. So let me show you how unbelievably easy Safeshell is. I've got my Apple TV right here. I go down to the Safeshell app right here, click it, and then it brings up a list of different locations of different servers all around the world. Then you pick the one you want, go over to start, push start, and all of a sudden you are connected to a brand new country. So now you have all the access to Netflix and Hulu and whatever other company that's streaming, you have access to all of their content. So if you're a person who needs those kind of things and screen real estate is your primary goal, go with the 16-inch. The next one up is the 14-inch MacBook Pro. Like I said, this is the M3 model MacBook Pro. It just came out, the M3 Pro, and it's a fantastic laptop. It's beautiful. This is in the space black color, and it's just a gorgeous laptop. But what's amazing about the 14-inch MacBook Pro is it splits those two worlds of I need great functionality and power, but I also need portability. Now, just like the 16-inch MacBook Pro, this has a great port selection. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to, I'll get some B-roll of that, but it looks awesome, but it also has really a lot of functionality on this. It's got 3 USB-Cs, it's got a SD card slot, it's got a headphone jack, and it has the MagSafe power input. So when you're working, you still have 3 different USB-C ports. However, what I've learned is I would rather just use a USB-C port, because pretty much I'm always only plugging in maybe an external hard drive, but I'd rather have a USB-C cable with me. That way I can charge my iPad and the new iPhone. So this 14-inch machine is fantastic for the person who wants the same exact power as the 16-inch MacBook Pro, but they want to be a little bit more portable. Because if you don't know this, the chipset between these two laptops is the exact same. So you're going to get the exact same amount of power, the exact same beauty of the screen. They're both mini LED, and so they're just a shrunk down version of the bigger boy. Also, if you are looking for the better sound, you're going to have to go with the 16-inch. The 14-inch sounds amazing for what it is. I mean, it really is. Like, if you find any Windows laptop in the same size, it sounds awesome. However, it's just really hard when you come from the 16-inch and it just sounds rich and full. Going to the 14-inch, it just doesn't sound as good. And if that's not a big priority for you, the sound, then I would definitely say go with the 14-inch. Now, for the person who needs ultimate portability and still a little bit of power, but not nearly as much power as the 14 or the 16-inch MacBook Pro, I would say go with this, the 13-inch MacBook Air. If I had to pick probably my favorite computer of the amount of power that they can handle and push into a small package, it is this, the MacBook Air. This particular model is the MacBook Air with the M2 chip in it, and it's crazy because this thing can actually edit 4K video just fine. Maybe not a ton of different layers, but it can do that really, really well. That's 10-bit 422. That might not mean much to you, but that's a pretty heavy codec, and it's a pretty heavy lifting for editing, and so the fact that this can kind of chew through all that editing is great. So if you're a student or if you're somebody who's coming from the business world, the M2 or M3 MacBook Air, man, they are gonna be so good for you. Another amazing thing about the MacBook Air is because it's a lower powered chip, the battery life lasts forever. I can go on a business trip, go out of town for a whole weekend and not even bring a charger with me. That is how incredibly power efficient these chips are. Now, as far as ports go for these machines, this one is gonna have the least amount of ports because it's not a Pro machine, but it has two USB-C ports. It's got a headphone input, and it has the MagSafe on the side. So if you're still, I mean, like I said, if you're editing video or editing something, or you just have documents on an external hard drive, you still have two ports available for something like that. Now, when it comes to weight, it's definitely the lightest. I can put this in a backpack. I don't even notice that it's in the backpack, which is pretty crazy to say. I mean, it feels like the size of like a big iPad. It's just so thin and so light. It's amazing. And kind of going with the trend of the quality of the speakers, it still sounds fantastic, but it doesn't sound as good as the 14, and it doesn't sound as good as the 16, but that's to be expected because of where the speakers are located in the hinge. But it still sounds solid for, you know, you're watching YouTube videos, you're watching Netflix, that's good. What a lot of people end up doing, this is what I end up doing for the most part, is I have AirPods. And so I'll just have my AirPods connect to my computer and listen to it that way. So the functionality of this laptop is incredible. It's gonna be great for anybody who needs to get a lot of work done in a small package and you wanna be on the go, and that's your primary thing. Like, you could fit this thing in a purse if you're, you know, a female that wants to travel with your computer like that. It's just small, light, and still surprisingly powerful. So let me know which one of these three laptops is your go-to. Do you like the small size of the Air, or do you like the huge screen of the 16 like I do? Tell me in the comments why you like that size of laptop. Like this video if you found it helpful. Guys, I love you. I'll see you all in the next one.